Hey and welcome to this video. So in this video we're gonna finish up how to create a new blog post. So what we're gonna do is, first of all, we're gonna have a validator variable here, which then will be equal to validator make. Then we have to say request all, and then inside here we will have an array with the things we need to validate. Before that, you need to also say use validator, and then inside here we need to say title is required. Then we will say content is required too. This will then make those required. So what we need to do now is say validator passes. And if that's the case, then we will go in and see if we can create a new blog post. In case there's some other error, it would just say post could not be created. And we will actually also add this as errors. And then we will go in here and say return response JSON with errors. If I can just spell correctly, is then gonna be validator errors all. And this should actually check if the title and the content is entered. And again, we don't need to validate this one because we're already checking if you're an admin user. So in that scenario, it will always already know that you have a name, because you cannot have a name without it. And this should actually validate all of it. So now we need to go in here and create the code we need. So what we can do in here is we can say if data.success. Then we will actually, instead of doing this here, this will be something we do if it's else, which means it's an error. But if it's data.success, we will actually relocate. And then we will say and then we will say to data.success.ul. So in order to get that, we will actually go in here and say return response JSON success URL, and then we say post, and then remember we put in the ID of the post, so we say post.blog ID. And what we can do now is we can then redirect the user into the post page. It would just be an empty page with a navigation bar. So that's what we will get at first as the result, and we will change this to .errors. Beside that, because we're not going to have any information about if positive like success information in here, we are going to have only if there's an error. And then if there is an error, it will say danger instead, because there's no reason to have .1. So now what it will do is it will simply pass on the error, say if you, for example, have the title field empty. So if we now go in here and refresh the page and then say hello. Okay, so we need to change one more thing actually, and that's because here we have made a small error. It should be .val instead, because otherwise before I would just get the name of the field, which was a small mistake I did. which is here, then it would never enter the actual title. So if we leave the title empty, the title field is required, and this happens in real time. Why do we have an AJAX request? It's because that in case that you actually have written a lot but forgot to put in the title, instead of removing all of the data and it will be forgotten, it will still be there. It will just update in real time and it will just allow you to submit again. This means that all of your data will not be deleted. This is why doing an AJAX request when you actually post data here would be really efficient, because then if you have written 5,000 words, it would be really a negative experience to then have everything removed. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to store a session and we need to pass that information into our block index.blade.php. So before we create all of the code here, we can just say alert success, and then inside here we're gonna check if there's a session first, then this will be shown up inside a container, which we're gonna have anyways, and then inside the container this will show up only if a session is stored. So that's what we are gonna do, and then in the next video we are gonna create this page where we can actually see the blog post. So let's go on to the last part of this video now. Alright, so what we can start up by doing is, when we add in here, say session has status. Then we're gonna put this actually up here, so we will actually still see the container, no matter if there's a status or not. So what we need to do now is, in case that it gets stored successfully, we're gonna say session, and we're then gonna say flash. Actually, instead of saying that, we're gonna say request session flash. Then we're gonna call this status, and we're gonna have post is created. So what this would do now is, in case that you actually successfully create a post, it would then say store this inside here, and then we will actually see if this session is stored. So to check out that it's stored and we can actually get it, we just might check here. So this will just check if there's actually anything that's stored. Okay, good. So now we just need to retrieve the message we have gotten from the session. And to retrieve it is very easy. We're just gonna go in here and say session get status. So what we can actually do now is we can go up here and say new post, say hello and hello, and now we are retrieving data from our blog controller, redirecting the user to the post page when you have created a post with a status on it, and we are validating the content, successfully storing it in the database, and that's actually all there is for creating a blog post. So now we need to read the blog post, and that's gonna be a longer one too, because First of all, when we first go in and be able to read the blog post, we're gonna go in, retrieve all of the data, style it, and we are gonna allow functionality to check if the user is an admin. In that case, you will be able to edit it if you are an admin, and if you then are allowed to edit it, you'll also be allowed to delete it directly inside from there. So that's what we're going to be working on now in the next video. So thank you very much for watching.